In the heated debates surrounding the US election, a pressing question arises. Do polls or bookmakers more accurately reflect what's happening on the ground? While the polls suggest a neck-and-neck race, with Kamala Harris barely leading, bookmakers are confidently backing Trump with considerable odds. This contrast poses a fascinating conundrum about the true sentiment of the electorate. But why such a stark contrast between these two predictors? The answer lies in the methodology, and perhaps the motive. Extensive research and analysis reveal a compelling narrative. Bookmakers consistently outperform polls when it comes to accuracy. The underlying reason is quite straightforward. It's all about who's being asked and how often they are consulted. Polls often suffer from a critical flaw. They repeatedly sample the same demographic segments, failing to capture a comprehensive snapshot of a diverse nation. Imagine trying to gauge the flavor of an entire pie by sampling just one ingredient. That's often how traditional polling works, leaving much to be desired in terms of representativeness. On the other hand, bookmakers operate on a different principle. They adjust their odds based on the flow of real money, coming from a wide array of public bets. This not only reflects a broader opinion pool, but also integrates shifts in public sentiment much more dynamically. Bookmakers have their fingers on the pulse of the nation's real-time beliefs and expectations, making their predictions notably reliable. Yet there's more at play when the media unanimously champions a candidate like Kamala Harris, who, just 4 years prior, was considered a marginal figure in political circles. Now, she is portrayed almost heroically in a narrative of inevitability and triumph. This portrayal by major outlets often contrasts sharply with the skepticism of bookies. This brings us to a provocative consideration. If the party insiders truly heed the bookmakers as the gold standard, then they are well aware of the daunting odds. This awareness might suggest that the enthusiastic media portrayal is a strategic facade, aimed at rallying support, or perhaps masking deeper electoral vulnerabilities. Moreover, the choice of candidate might itself be a calculated gamble. The upper echelons of the party, possibly wary of the humiliation that a loss to Donald Trump would entail, might have positioned a candidate they deem expendable. This strategy allows them to save face, protecting more viable candidates for future elections. Diving deeper, there exists a potentially darker layer to this scenario. What if there's a significant motive behind the scenes? The rhetoric used by both sides seems to signal a definitive, almost apocalyptic vision of the future, suggesting that something monumental may be on the horizon. Could it be that elements within the Democratic Party, or even broader governmental entities, often labeled as the deep state, are preparing to step outside traditional political maneuvers? The backdrop to this political theatre is a world brimming with economic uncertainties. High public debt, soaring interest rates, and rampant inflation are brewing a perfect storm that could precipitate a major crisis. Economic indicators, like Japan's recent rate hike, and ominous trends in US financial data, hint that we might be on the verge of a significant economic downturn, reminiscent of the prelude to past global disruptions. Recall the global financial landscape just before the onset of COVID-19. The repo crisis had already signaled severe liquidity strains, which mysteriously seemed to dissipate as the pandemic spurred governments worldwide to inject unprecedented sums into their economies. Dubbed a war economy, or more broadly, a crisis economy, this scenario facilitated a drastic protocol-breaking response to a liquidity nightmare. As we peer into this complex web of polling inaccuracies, media narratives, and potential economic calamities, one must consider: are we merely observers in a scripted play, or are we unwitting participants in a larger strategy orchestrated from the shadows? What unfolds in the coming months could provide more insight than years of speculation and analysis. I invite you to ponder these possibilities. What do you believe is at the core of these converging narratives? Join the discussion below, share your views, and let's unravel these intricate layers together. Maybe, just maybe, we'll find that there's far more to this story than what's presented on the surface.